A Berkeley organization is helping to protect the environment and the quality of life in villages around the world. Tonight, ABC 7 News salutes the group called Seacology for hammering out deals with villages in order to protect their natural resources. ABC 7's Leanne Melendez explains.
Without these forests, the lemurs of Madagascar could not survive. Berkeley-based Seacology is helping locals preserve their forests. How? It's all about striking the right deal.
We ask island villagers what tangible thing they want in exchange for establishing a forest or marine reserve.
For example, in this village in Indonesia, some local fishermen were practicing bomb fishing, using explosives to stun the fish. This, of course, was destroying the coral. This is a Seacology video. Without reefs, eventually the fish were disappearing. So Seacology brought in eco-reef modules, in other words, fake reefs. With the help of villagers and dive operators from the national park, these modules were installed. In exchange for rehabilitating the reef, the village promised to stop bomb fishing. Today, the area is a 5-acre no-take reserve, and the local indigenous laws make sure this promise is fulfilled.
If the chief says no fishing, there's no fishing, and the punishments are very simple and very swift, including up to being thrown out of your village.
Field inspectors check the area regularly. Today, bay corals and other sea life are now thriving on these modules. Paul Cox and Ken Murdoch founded Seacology in the early 1990s. Cox, a well-known scientist, was doing research in the Falialupo rainforest in Samoa when he encountered loggers.
And he said to the chiefs, "What's going on here?" And they explained the government of Samoa told them if they didn't build a better school, the teachers would be removed.
With no way to afford a new school, the village began selling off parts of their forest. Cox made a deal. "We'll come up with the money to build your school, and you promise to preserve your rainforest." Cox had no idea where that money would come from.
The good news is I think I've saved this forest. The bad news is we might have to sell our children to raise the $85,000 to build this school. But through a few generous people, the money was raised very quickly. The school was built, and the village did sign an agreement saving a 30,000-acre pristine rainforest in perpetuity.
This act won Cox the prestigious Goldman Environmental Award. Ironically, Dwayne Silverstein was its executive director at the time. A few years later, Silverstein was asked to head Seacology. Today, Seacology has saved more than 166,000 acres of land and nearly 2 million acres of coral reef and other marine habitat. They've built or funded 87 schools, centers, and water systems. Their projects are now known in scientific circles around the world. John McCousker is the chair of aquatic biology at the California Academy of Sciences.
One, it's teaching people that there are smarter ways to do things, and two, buying time.
Seacology puts up the money, but the villagers themselves build the projects. This gives them a sense of pride and ownership. There are legally binding contracts with the villagers to make sure they are living up to their agreement. Fields representatives also monitor their projects several times a year. That's convincing enough for philanthropist Doug Hurst, who helps support some of these projects. He has personally traveled to some of these islands.
The chief, the big chief of one of the major towns, stood up and he said, "You know, our government tells us what we need. You listen to us and have given us what we've asked for."
Something that is so small in U.S. terms, at $25,000, you couldn't even hire an architect here. And you're doing a school or a medical clinic, you're building one that these people have tried to get for 30 to 40 years. It's indescribable.
And so we salute Dwayne Silverstein and all the people who support Seacology for helping maintain an ecological balance around the world.
What magnificent work.